going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have an NU match. This one is against Storm from Twitter, and I'm using a pretty interesting team here. I decided to test out Gastrodon, so he was recently dropped down into the NU tier, so I decided to give him a shot. I'm also using a couple other Pokemon that I don't really use that often, so we'll see how this team goes. But looking at my opponent's side, I am afraid of his Gastrodon because I don't have a grass type or even a grass move on this team, so that's going to be a problem. Although my plan is to pretty much get a Toxic on that thing. Then he has like the Swellow, which could be annoying. Primeape could also do a lot of damage, and overall pretty scary team on his side. Also, guys, I wanted to let you know I'm on a little bit of a dry streak on really interesting kind of close battles. So I've been battling a lot lately, and just not a lot of them are upload worthy, but I decided to upload this one just because it's still pretty interesting. So if you happen to have some good teams and you want to get a battle going against me, go ahead and follow me on Twitter because that's where I get like all my battles. But anyway, I decided to lead off with my Pancake just because it's always a good time for some breakfast, as he leads off with his Electivire, and he hits me with an Earthquake right off the bat on the first turn. I knew I was going to be able to take at least one of those, and I wanted to get my Stealth Rock up. So Flatfish is able to throw some Stealth Rocks up, and yeah, so I don't want to take another Earthquake. I feel like Stunfisk could potentially be useful later on, so I now decide to switch into my Gastrodon, who's a pretty direct counter to Electivire, unless the thing carries like Hidden Power Grass, but I don't expect that, as he's actually just going to go for a Psychic on the switch. Gary the Snail comes out and absorbs the hell out of that. So here I actually expect him to switch out. There's really no reason for him to stay in. I'm a ground type. I would be able to hit him with a nice and powerful Earth Power, but he actually stays in here and goes for the Earthquake, which was really interesting to me. He gets a critical hit and it still doesn't do very much at all, so I don't know why he stayed in there, but I decided to go for the Toxic, expecting him to switch, although it lands on the Electivire, so, you know, enjoy your Toxic, buddy. But Gastrodon doesn't really care a whole lot about taking that much damage. I am a Snail who somehow has the power to fucking get health back, so I'm just going to go for the Recover here as he's taking his poison damage. He actually ends up staying in again and going for another Earthquake. I guess he thought it would be enough to take me out, but luckily I'm able to live it with 21 HP, and that allows me to now go for a Recover. So Gastrodon getting nice and healthy, and we are back to a pretty good spot here. After the leftovers, I'm looking pretty nice, and now I'm convinced. I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to stay in here with his freaking Electivire again. He saw that I can recover. I don't take any damage from Earthquake, so I expect him to want to go into something to resist an Earth Power, so I'm going to go for the Scald instead, as it works out for me, and he's going to bring out his Swellow here. So after the Stealth Rock damage and the Scald damage, this thing is going to be not sitting at a pretty healthy spot. So I don't get the burn, but it doesn't really matter because, I mean, it's going to be Guts anyway. So he actually activates his Poison or Toxic Orb here as he's going to get his Poison. And at this point, I actually just decide to stay in as he's going to go for a Brave Bird, just trying to get as much damage as possible. And I know that he's going to kill himself with Recoil, so I actually end up just going for the Recover as the Swellow goes down and Gastrodon's sitting here all by himself on the battlefield, so he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna recover. So I get like half of my health back, and Gastrodon is looking pretty damn awesome so far. This was like my first battle with this team, so it's working out pretty nicely. I love Gastrodon. This thing's fucking badass. But yeah, so now he's gonna bring out his Zangoose, as honestly this really is not that bad of a matchup for me. If anything wants to take an attack from the Zangoose, it's definitely my Gastrodon. So he's gonna go for the Protect on the first turn just to activate his Poison Toxic Boost or whatever the hell this thing does. This guy's got multiple Toxic Orb users, which is kind of interesting, but yeah, so I kind of knew from the start that Gastrodon was going to have a pretty swell time against this dude's team, just because from the team matchup I could definitely tell that he doesn't have a whole lot for it. So he decides to go for the knockoff there, as that allows me now to go for an Earth Power, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but honestly whittling down the Zangoose is what I need to do. And at this point I know he'll be able to finish off Gastrodon with a Facade, so I decide to switch into my Mawile here, bringing out the Two-Face as he goes for the Facade as I expect. And because I'm Sheer Force and not Intimidate, that is going to do a lot of damage to me. It brings me down to red. I thought it was going to Oko for a second. I was like, Jesus, I underestimated Zangoose there, but I decided to go for the Sucker Punch, expecting him to just stay in and want to finish me off, but he actually switches into his Pyro, which is a nice play because that sticks me into a freaking matchup that I do not really like here. So he's going to get hit by some Stealth Rock and stuff, as I now decide to switch back into my Stunfisk. I'm realizing he's probably not going to be all that useful at this point in the match, so I want to get him in here just so that I can get a free revenge matchup against this Pyro here. So he actually goes for the Will-O-Wisp. I really expected him just to attack there, but at least Stunfisk gets to live another day. He's out here looking nice and flat and stuff like your mom, but yeah, so I get hurt by my burn, and he's able to then finish me off with a Hidden Power Grass. Well, at least I assume it's Hidden Power Grass. That's generally what these things carry. It's super effective. So yeah, I go down to a Hidden Power Grass. Unfortunately, Stunfisk dies, which is sad, but you know, it has to happen, buddy. Sorry. although this at least allows me to get the matchup I kind of want here. So this is an Assault Vested Mag Mortar. I know I'm going to be able to take any attack this thing throws at me. He decides to go for a Hyper Voice, and look at that, eating that shit up. With the Assault Vest, Mag Mortar is able to take less than half, and unfortunately I miss a Focus Blast, which really sucks. But I am able to take at least one more Hyper Voice, as I'm like, please Focus Blast, don't miss twice in a row, and I actually do connect. So luckily, Focus Blast is going to take out the Pyroar, which was a pretty big threat to my team, so it's good to see that thing gone. And fucking Assault Vest Mag Mortar actually worked extremely well right there, so that's pretty sweet. Here he's going to bring out his Electivire, and I really expected him to outspeed here, but Mag Mortar actually outspeeds him, and I'm able to finish him off with a Flamethrower. So that tells me that he was probably not a plus speed natured Electivire, and I'm assuming he expected me to not have speed investment because of the fact that I took that special attack so well. So he's now going to bring in his Primeape, and check it out, I actually end up outspeeding this thing too, which is really weird because almost every Primeape you see these days ends up being Choice Scarfed. So I was expecting just to die there, but his Primeape goes down, and that's actually really nice for me. That tells me that he was actually an Adamant Primeape, which has one less speed point than my Mag Mortar does. Assuming he was 252 Adamant in speed, he probably had 147 speed, and my Mag Mortar has 148, so that's pretty amazing. It's pretty crazy how the smallest little stat can change a lot. So Gastrodon came in, I missed a Focus Blast, which is expected, but at least now I can bring in Prostitute, and Prostitute is ready to pucker them lips and kiss some fucking snails. So I go for the lovely kiss. It is going to hit, and asleep goes the Gastrodon. So at this point, I'm pretty much free to do whatever I want, and I'm like, okay, hell yeah, nice little late game Jinx sweep, that's that shit I do like. So I go for the nasty plots, and freaking the snail here, or actually he's a slug, I guess, but I've never seen a sleeping slug. Did he say sleep? I don't know. But apparently they sleep with their eyes open, which is pretty damn creepy, but an Ice Beam is able to take out the Gastrodon, and see you later. I was really worried about that thing, but I didn't really have to worry at all. So Jinx is out here doing her thing, and his last Pokemon is the Zangoose here, who actually I expected him to go for the Quick Attack to be able to finish me off, but he does not, and a Psyshock is going to be able to take out the Zangoose. One of my favorite shinies, actually. Look at how sexy he is, all blue and stuff. But yeah, so that was going to be the end of the match there, guys. I apologize, this was a relatively short one, but like I said, I've been doing a lot of battles lately, and not a lot of them are ending up being very close. I don't know what it is, but I do need some new challengers. So yeah, follow me on Twitter. I've been asking for battles quite a lot recently, and I pretty much battle everybody who gives me a friend code. So thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.